film fans, so I just watched Netflix's newest, most popular release, Troll. It was released on December 1st, 2022. Currently, this movie is sitting at an 88% on Rotten Tomatoes. It was directed by Roar Yuthang. I probably butchered that name, and I apologize for that. This film is the largest film ever made in Scandinavia as far as production budget. And because of the way it was released to Netflix, not through the box office, I couldn't actually find its production budget nor what it's grossing right now. That information will probably be available later. If you're interested in this movie and want to know even more details about it, there is an article on What's Up Netflix that you can check out, where the director and production team go back and forth and they're having a conversation about the movie and what it took. But without rambling on about that too much, let's get into the review. Deep inside the mountain of Dove, something gigantic awakens after being trapped for 1,000 years, destroying everything in its path. The creature is fast approaching the capital of Norway, but how do you stop something that you thought only existed in Norwegian folklore? This was a really good movie. There were certain scenes and certain parts that I couldn't get past. It's very, very closely related to Godzilla. Like, when this thing comes out of the mountain, you're like, hey, looks like a Godzilla flick. Or just the way it behaves and the way they try to show it as a misunderstood creature, or how it's actually like helpful, not hinderous type deal. The exact same as you'd picture Godzilla looking. It's misunderstood. It's not its fault that it exists, if that made any sense. There were a couple things about this film there was one major thing about this film that absolutely drove me nuts, was because it was originally released in Norway, and it is filmed in Norwegian, and I'm watching this from Canada. You can understand that on our Netflix, the lips and the talking are out of sync. I know that drives a lot of people crazy, and I am one of them. That drives me nuts. It's distracting, it takes away from the movie, and I just wish they could have done better on that part with matching the talking to the lip movement. It just would have made a whole lot of difference, because it's super distracting and it kind of takes away from the storyline. And with this particular storyline, I mean, it was a really good story. It flowed together really well. It was very well written, and whoever did this definitely had a lot of thought in mind as incorporating all the details and things that they did incorporate into this film. There are quite a few references from other movies that you guys would probably pick up on fairly quickly. Of course, like I said, we do see a lot of reference to Godzilla and a lot of similarities between Troll and Godzilla, even Kong. You can see the similarities in those ancient beings and ancient monsters. There are Jurassic Park references. Whenever they start talking about dinosaurs, they start talking about paleontology. They asked, is there a T-Rex walking around? And you're like, that sounds a little bit similar to the Jurassic Park series. In the article on What's Up Netflix, there is a section that I did read through quickly that talks about the green screen time, and they say they didn't use a lot of green screen time for this particular film because they have such nice mountain ranges and wilderness there that they were actually able to record this without a lot of green screen. But the green screen CGI that they did use was really well done. It didn't take away from the film. It didn't take away that real life feeling. It didn't take away anything that would have been important to the film, and it didn't like kick you out of the movie as far as like, this is happening in real life, like this looks realistic, this looks great. It didn't take away from that at all, which that's a big one for me. It's the CGI has to match the film, or it has to be really, really well done. Otherwise, it's like you ruin the movie, or you ruin this particular sequence of action. There are Star Trek references. Major one that you pick on right away is whenever they say, "Oh, Captain Chris," it's like, I wonder if they're going for a Captain Kirk reference there. They definitely go for Star Trek, there is a Lord of the Rings, a couple Lord of the Rings references as well in the movie, and right at the end on Netflix, they do tease the possibility for a sequel, and I really, really hope they go through with that, because this movie, it's good. It is good. I'm gonna have to give it a 4 on the Rotten Tomato meter just because of that lip syncing thing, but again, that's not the film creator's fault that it had to happen like that, just because it was filmed in a different language, but that was really, really distracting for me, and it did take away from the film itself, to me, in at least some aspects. So I highly recommend this film if you want to check it out. It is on Netflix, and it is number 1 on Netflix today. So that's it for this review, film fans, and we'll see y'all in the next one. Until then, keep watching.